Welcome back, regular viewer, loyal subscriber to Football Manager 2022 2022, all the twos apart from the zero. We are at the point with Brackley Town in our development where we can hop over to the inbox and start scrolling through some of the emails we've received as management. We'll just get to the top of this, making sure we've covered all of the elements that it's suggesting, and then we can advance time. So this is the introduction email. We get given a list of our playing personnel who are due to have contract changes. We have already offered contracts to a couple of the key players in here as recommended for the moment. The rest of them we can delay our decisions for them. We already get a view that some of the players are considered not good enough by the assistant manager, but it might be good to get a new assistant manager and new coaching staff in to have a look at some of these players and make sure we know what's what. I made a mistake when I was offering roles to members of staff, but we'll cover that later on. The mistake was probably offering a coaching role to one too many coaches, which the board is going to block. So what I'll do, what I have done, is just ask the board whether they will consider adding a new coach to the staff. They might reject it because it's too early in the save. But I thought it was worth an ask. Otherwise, we're just going to have to choose to terminate one of the coach offers that we've placed out. Because all of these players have really recently signed a one-year current contract, we have no real need to make decisions now. So I'm just going to apply the recommended action to all, which is, for the majority of them, if not all of them, delay decision for the moment. There we go. We move up. There is a tactics induction which you can go through if you want to learn more about attacking mentality and the team instructions and what have you. This is an important one, which is the club vision and negotiations meeting. So you've already seen these, but this is our ability to negotiate it if we want to change any of these about. Usually you have a multi-year plan here. So the 5-year plan, the club culture is really a striving culture, making progress on and off the pitch. We are in the Vanarama National League North, the FA Cup, which involves all of the team in the league, non-league structure, and the FA Trophy, which is mainly Vanarama, North, South and National, as well as the leagues below them. So this is kind of the lower league. Interestingly, Brackley Town in 2018-19 season won the FA Trophy, so that is a recent piece of silverware that the team has acquired. Possible we might be able to do it again, but we at least have an objective to make progress in that competition a little. So a key part of the 5-year plan, which is an ongoing requirement, is that we work within the wage budget. I believe there are league rules in place which cap the maximum wage we can offer to our entire team to around £8,000 a week in total, which will limit the maximum size of the squad unless we go beyond that. By the end of the season, we're expecting a top half finish. We're looking to reach the first round proper of the FA Cup, which might mean having to navigate some qualifiers, and reach the second round minimum of the FA Trophy, but that's only preferred rather than required. So our ability as a coach, as a football manager, will be judged on these requirements. And we want to, by the end of next season, at the latest, reach the playoffs. And that's something that they will judge my capability on. Hopefully we'll do that in the first season, reaching the playoffs, but it is something that we have to do by the end of next season, otherwise they will consider my tenure a failure. Pre-season preparation. So they're due to return to pre-season training today, so review your plans. During pre-season, a schedule that greatly increases fatigue will benefit players' fitness, and then it will stave off fatigue longer in the season itself. During the season itself, the focus should be on other areas. So this is what I mentioned previously when setting out some of the key training criteria, is that you work people hard on their physical attributes to increase their fatigue in pre-season, and then you ease off the intensity in the season itself, and concentrate more on tactics and individual training goals. So just hopping over to training for the moment, and looking at schedules. We haven't actually assigned any schedules to training. I did have a quick look at the units to make sure that people were where they were meant to be, and I need to move Tariq Yusuf into the attacking unit and Shepherd into the defensive unit. Shepherd being the more defence-minded midfielder, Tariq Yusuf because we'd be playing him more as a replacement for Wes York in attacking midfielder left, than as a wing-back, which the game thinks makes him a defender. I think everybody else is in the correct place. Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that's correct. So from the point of view of setting the training in the training calendar, I'm going to leave that to the assistant manager. You can see that they've already put together a basic training program interleaved with the friendlies, focusing on physical resistance, quickness and resistance training, and a bit of endurance, and then general training to do with physical attributes in outfield. And you know, for early pre-season, this is going to be adequate. We can change this if we want to, but I'm going to leave it as it is for the moment. So just to get in here, we will accept the current vision. I have no real desire to add anything else to this. We've hopped through the pre-season prep. Now I will be wanting to arrange a different friendlies here. What I'd like to do is to set up a little pre-season competition between clubs that are very close to us but better than us, hopefully to boost our money, but also to, you know, have a bit of fun. So we are in a tri-county area here in Brackley, which is in the very southwestern tip of Northamptonshire. It is next to Oxfordshire, next to Buckinghamshire. So I thought it would be nice if we could arrange a get-together, a little mini-league, if you like, with Northampton, Oxford, Milton Keynes, and ourselves, maybe just doing a kind of a four-way league. And if we can host that here in our stadium, we might benefit from the fact that all of the other teams are in higher divisions than us, and the crowd can come and visit because we're not too far away from them. We should be able to pack out the stadium, hopefully, with the 3,500 capacity, and that will generate some money for the club. Scouting introduction, we've already gone through and offered trials to various players. We haven't got a lot of scouts, and at the moment we're just holding off on that. We'll do that a bit later. Transfers in introduction. We will cover when we start identifying players that we want to add, but before we do any of that, we want to have a look at our team playing. We can introduce the training, but we've already talked about that. Squad dynamics we haven't spoken about, but in principle this is how the team get on together. Within the team you can see from a cohesion point of view, it's average cohesion at the moment. This will be improved by training together. Club atmosphere is average, but on the positive side, nobody's unhappy. We've got 2 players who are very happy. We have a lot of friends amongst, and there are players who speak common languages. On the downside, a little bit, or warning signs, the club has had a high turnover of playing staff, and there are lots of different personalities throughout the club. So we might need to identify and move on some of the players that aren't fitting in very well. And from a management support, this is kind of because I've boosted Hope Powell's stats and reputation that she comes with as an international manager, and somebody with the highest certification of management compared to the players, I get a bit of a boost there. So that just makes the game a little bit easier for me, and that's all to the good. The hierarchy is one of the most important things to understand. These players at the top, the team leaders, these are the ones whose attitude and emotions will most broadly rub off on the people at the bottom, the other players. So if either of these guys become unhappy or distressed or unsettled, you can have ripple down effects throughout the squad. Whereas if one of these guys down here is unhappy, generally speaking, they're not going to destabilise the pyramid. You want to be keeping this relatively lean. You don't want it top heavy. Having a load of team leaders in here is fine, but you can. It's harder to make sure everybody at this top level is incredibly happy. We are warned in here that Glenn Walker is approaching the end of his career, which will leave Gareth Dean, our central defence head of central defence, the sole leader within the team. So, as it mentioned in our squad review, leadership is quite lacking in the team. So, during recruitment, we might want to look at acquiring a senior player that can slot in here, that we can maybe promote, or promoting one of these guys. We'll have a look through their leadership stats. Having a model citizen at the top wouldn't be a bad thing, but our keeper is 39 years old, and possibly he'll be coming to the end of his playing career shortly as well. So we might want to look at the people in here to see if any of those are going to be able to step up and slot in. Right, so that's squad dynamics. Medical centre, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. We've got no injuries in the team at the moment. We don't have a sports scientist, although I have offered a contract to a coach who can be a sports scientist as a secondary role, hoping to cover two slots with one employee. There will be efficiency. Right. Mark Noon, the assistant manager, would like to borrow a few minutes of time to introduce to the squad and give a broad overview of the players. I think it would be worth taking in time. This will be useful. We'll see if what we understand from our review is going to be what the tour tells us. So this is our first team squad. I had to look at the under 18s. They're all greyed out, so they're not real people in inverted commas. I.e., none of their stats are beyond 9, and they're they don't have sort of real contracts with the club. I would need to convert them to a highlighted player, if you like, in order to promote them, but they don't have the skills to really make it. So I think probably I'll hand the under 18s off to assistant manager and just leave it so I don't have to deal with it until we recruit in younger players. Right, so team selections, this just highlights the positions that they are selected for within the tactic. This is an abbreviated set of statuses that players can have. So WNT is that they're wanted by another club, or another club has them on a shortlist. CTR is their contract requires renewal or is already out of contract. List means they're on the transfer list. And there is loan as well, so they're available, they've been made available for loan, etc, etc. Players, yes. Colours will indicate different statuses of players, so white means they are available in the squad to play. Purple, they are out on loan. Blue, they are being loaned in from another team. Green is they're on trial, and there might be one or two other colours, but those are the main ones. Right, so squad selection screen uses this information. It's fairly important to see the form that the players have, which over the last 5 games, the condition that they're in and how sharp they are, their match sharpness. If they have low match sharpness, they'll tend to make more errors. you'll find them out of position a lot more, and it's important to keep their match sharpness in the green as much as you can, but leaving them on the bench is going to reduce their match sharpness quite considerably. Right, we can slice this data in many different ways depending on what we want to do. That's all fine. We can filter the players. The most annoying thing for me is this checkbox here. When I click on this to filter players that are on loan, what I want it to do is to filter out players that I am loaning to someone else, so that I don't see them in my squad selection screen. What it also gets rid of is players that I have loaned in from another team that I might be wanting to play, and sometimes that upsets me. I would prefer to have two radio buttons, one to hide players that have been sent out on loan, and the other one to remove players that we are loaning in from somewhere else. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. So, familiarise yourself with players, the individual profiles, build a full picture. Yes, okay, that's fine, and we're done. Alright, Backroom staff induction. I'm not going to go through this. We've already assessed some of the Backroom staff. In fact, some of them will be leaving the club before too long. I don't know whether this particular version of Football Manager does this, but in previous versions you are able to negotiate mutual termination relatively easily for initial Backroom staff when you're starting with a team. Later on it gets more difficult because you have to pay them off to do it, but I don't know whether that's a thing in this version. It could trip me up horribly. We have a development centre. This is going to be important when we start loaning some of our players out, or when we get effective youth players in. We can give them to the development centre, where our head of youth development can find loans for them, find teams willing to take them on and develop them effectively. But because we don't have many players with decent potential in the U18s, it's a mediocre development squad. There's really nothing in here. We're not going to send them out on loan. There might be one or two players in the first team that we will loan out, but we have to be careful about losing their capability because we've got quite a small squad here, and we're training them very hard. So if there are any injuries, we might lack cover. We might have to cover that with emergency loans or what have you, but let's move on anyway. So we have just rolled forward a little bit, and what do we see? Well, we have the social feed, which I'm not going to go into. It's useful for identifying some players in the news, and that might focus your scouting or whatever. So due to fixture changes, it's adjusted the training plan. That's all very good. Please review, feel free to make any changes. No, I'm happy with that. We've had a lot of trial bids turned down, which probably means I've done it wrong, or I've been oh, that's one accepted. Yeah, so these trials sometimes get rejected if they're an older member of an existing team, and we've just asked for ones whose contracts are expired. Anyway, that's fine. So we've had some accepted, we've had some rejected. That's not a problem for me. Right, we have our first fortnightly staff meeting. So let's attend in person, say hello to the staff. Right, so vice captains. We don't currently have a vice captain. You think Ellis Miles will make a good vice captain? He's leadership 8 and 10 teamwork with a balanced personality. I don't think I want to have him as vice captain. Move on. Right. You're recommending ending individual training. No. Individual ball control training. No longer weaknesses. Look, 10.99. ending Trey Mitford's individual shooting training. No longer weaknesses. 989. Move along. Right. Dan Farrell should be replaced in his assignment to handle handling and distribution coaching for Brackley. He's being asked to work in too many different areas. The problem is we've only got one goalkeeping coach. And Dan Farrell is, well, he's on his way out anyway, but no, move on. Right, you think his game would be improved if he tried to develop his weaker foot. Yes, I might agree with you, but I've already got him working on something else, so leave him off doing that foot. Weaker foot, weaker foot. Yes, I don't disagree with this, but I'd rather not be training them on a new trait and changing their feet at the same time. So, no, I'm not going to do any of that. The club has such poor youth facilities, we should probably be looking to use the transfer market to develop the squad. Thank you for that. You think Wes York should be taken off the transfer list? He has the ability to help us on the pitch. I agree with you. He's 3.5 ability, 3.5 potential. He might not be improving, but he's a very good player here. I don't know why he's on the transfer list in the first place. It might be worth having a look to see if there's something we need to know. Transfer status. He's been transfer listed since the 5th of the 7th. That was today. I didn't do it. It must just be preset that that's the case. No, I'll take him off the transfer list. It could be that he's actually earning his salary is £600 a week. He is the highest earner at this club, and it might be that the idea was to reduce the wage bill somewhat, which I'm not against at all. But right now, I think we can remove him. That's fine. Alex Prosser has great potential. I'm happy with hearing that. Bradley Rolt has high potential. I'm happy to hear that. And Tariq Yusuf has high potential, but low current ability. Okay, good stuff. Move on. The assistant manager vacancies. Yes, I've already put an offer out to somebody, but I will happily have a look at Matt Jarvis. So the assistant manager has to have good people management, good judging player ability and player potential, and he's only half interested in assistant manager, so I have to say probably not. Move along. You think these people will be good coaches as head performance analyst? I believe I've already sorted that out. We've finished. Good stuff. Right. So let's roll forward. You don't want more than 30 players on trial at the club. Okay, which is fine, but remember many of these are being cancelled. Well, not being cancelled, they're being rejected. Okay, let's just... So we accept, 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 accept. I'm sorry if I took on too many people board. That's fine. You know, I know we can only deal with a certain number of players coming in. Don't worry, I'll be kicking them out as soon as they arrive at our front door, as soon as I can. Berry, Roberts on trial. Okay, so I've accepted that slew of people coming in. And continue. Okay, now we can go through the social feed as much as we like. Here is just a repeat if we're taking people on loan, but actually we're going to work this through on the trial. So we've taken Jack Moriarty on trial for 2 weeks. His current ability is really low. It's half a star. We're only confident that he might reach 2.5, but you know, potentially he could reach a standard to play in this league. So I suspect that Jack is not going to make it. 2.5 stars at best. So what I want to do is to get him, go to transfer, go to contract, sorry, and terminate trial. Boom. Atwell's on trial. So exciting young prospect, could include a lot, improve a lot. Doesn't really tell us very much. 18-year-old fullback. It's not very strong. Star ratings aren't looking good. No, he's not going to make it here either. Terminate trial. Okay. Right, here's somebody who's a bit better. Right, so potentially Vanarama National Standard, which is better to see, so that's the division above us. Exciting young prospect who isn't far from first team level. This might be worthwhile. He's a goalkeeper. He's got very good handling, very good reflexes. We'll keep him around to work out what his other bits and pieces are. We don't know what his personality is, but he looks like a decent shout to keep on board. Welcome to Brackley. We'll get to your development in a bit. Right, Gaskell, another a midfielder, 19-year-old, 2.5, not far from first team level, and again potentially up to Vanarama National as far as we can tell. This guy has great vision, very, very weak, and some of his stats don't look particularly good, but initial view is that he's a 4-star Metzala at best, so we'll keep him on and have a look at him and see how he's getting going. Ramal Williams, only a 1-star, potentially capable of playing in this league. I'm afraid the answer is not for the moment. So we'll contract, terminate trial. Right, Massimo Giamatti, 1.5. It's potentially style, isn't far from first team. Really, 1.5. So he's a full-back, 3.5 stars. You think he'd make a decent winger. We might want to keep him on, see if that turns into anything, but he's not actually looking that strong. If he's going to play on the wing, he needs decent work rate and pace and acceleration. That isn't looking positive, but we'll leave him for the moment. That looks awful. 1/2 star, 1/2 star. A lot of uncertainty about him. No, I don't think he's going to make it. Contract, terminate. O'Reilly. Oh, this looks a bit better. A regular starter who could still improve. Fullback. Potentially Vanarama National. Let's have a look at Conor O'Reilly. Right, excellent positioning. Probably quite good passing and tackling as well. His pace isn't great. Although you think in a fullback defensive role he would actually be good. Well, you can stick around. I like you. Potentially Vanarama North. No, you don't have anything to recommend you. So sorry, Will. Contract, terminate. Yeah. 2 stars and potential Vanarama North. Goalkeeper, 4-star goalkeeper from what you can see, although your kicking, your distribution is bad. You don't have very good command of the area. You're nice and tall, I like that. You need a lot of development, and you're 20 years old, and I would have thought you'd be better than that. But we'll keep you around because we might have to have a backup goalie, because our second goalie is a bit weak. Welcome aboard, Zach Smith. Potentially Vanarama National. You've only got 1 star though, so you're going to need a lot of development, and it's a no from me at this moment in time. So thanks for coming, Zach. Have a biscuit and coffee on the way out. Thanks for driving 400 miles to be here today. Richie Mbele could improve a lot, but he's way off first team level. Yes, and I agree. Again, thank you, Richie, for coming. But no, thank you. Terminate the trial. Okay. Mike Peck isn't far from first team level. Really. Potentially Vanarama North. Well, let's have a look. See if I agree with you. 6'2" with decent jumping reach, poor heading, poor marking, poor tackling. Maybe, but no, not for me, Mr. Peck. Thank you for coming. Take a biscuit on the way out. Good stuff. Cameron Healy, not have the required ability or potential. I'll take your word for it, and just say no. Not have the required ability or potential. Fine, I'll take your word for it. And terminate now. Fringe player, unlikely to improve. No, thank you. Well, let's just have a look, because fringe players sometimes surprise you. He's incredibly strong. Perhaps 3 stars in defensive midfield. Very aggressive. He would get cards coming out. With that strength and that aggression, he is a real defensive midfield wall. Actually, relatively decent stats. That considers him only a 3-star. No, you're 31. I don't want older team players. We're looking for young stars, I'm afraid. Thanks for coming. Mr. Senko, 18-year-old winger. 2.5-star, potentially Vanarama National. Excellent work rate. 4-star defensive winger. That's an unusual position. It's not one we have in our formation. We might be able to train you in a different position, perhaps up here on the right. You're young enough to be able to adapt to that. Let's keep you around for a bit. We'll see what we can do with you. Kamari Paris, 2 stars with potential. What can we see about you? Just defensive midfield. We don't know a lot about you. Fine. So we'll keep you around until we know a little bit more. Wow. Okay. Enoch Asante, 19-year-old forward. He classifies as a 4.5-star already. Potentially Sky Bet League One. Is this really a diamond, or is how coaches made a cock up here? Okay, he looks very good. Target, he's 6 foot tall. At 19, Ghanaian. Really high stamina and acceleration, which we like the look of. Work rate, 14 to 20, I like that. Finishing is probably decent. If we hit the midway, it's probably 12 in there. Decent long shots. Not much flair or aggression. But he's going to be very strong. Yeah, so as a target forward, he looks very good. Welcome aboard, Enoch. Bobby Carroll, 19-year-old midfielder, 4 stars, you think, star player, potentially championship standard. Good grief, really? Yeah, maybe. He's 6'2", in the middle of the field. Massive jumping reach. Excellent acceleration and pace. Lovely work rate. I like that. So as a ball-winning midfielder, yeah, his tackling is weak, which isn't brilliant. If he reaches the midpoint of his his passing, he'll be a 10, which is acceptable. Probably decent leadership as well. Long shots very good. His finishing is decent. So as an attacking midfielder, I mean, it says ball-winning midfielder here, but as an attacking midfielder, I think he's probably got a lot about him. So let's keep you going, Mr. Carroll. Thank you. Matthew O'Neill, winger. He's 2.5 stars. I like his pace. Probably why I brought him in on trial. It reckons he's a 4-star natural winger. Might be good backup for Matt Lowe. We'll keep him on. Potentially national standard fullback. Very quick, but only 2.5 stars, really. something in his stats is causing my coaches to look at him and go, that looks a bit dicey. I mean, that speed and acceleration is just astonishing, and having him bombing down the right or the left wing, he's very versatile as well. I'm going to keep him on regardless, just to have a look. No. Contract terminates. Yes. Okay. 41-year-old midfielder. I didn't look at their age when I was doing. That's desperation talking. Terminate that trial. Roberts. Surplus to requirements. Well, let's have a quick look. He's fast. That's probably all he can do. He's fast with 1 finishing. No. Contract terminate trial. Right. Okay. Board have agreed to increase the number of coaches. That means we can have 3 coaches. I'm very happy with that. Okay. Thank you very much. That means that I've probably got around the problem of offering too many coaches positions in the club, and we can. One of them has agreed to be a sports scientist as a secondary. So, right, in preparation for the new season, Gareth Dean has presented us with the code of conduct. I'm very happy. This actually looks more strict than I usually am. So I'm just going to confirm it. I'm very happy with that. Without any negotiations. Well done. Thank you. Right. Now we've finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. Right. So we can now go into our scouting. Player search. We'll get the package back for UK and Ireland. Yes, please. We'll pick new criteria. You can see the ones in green are the ones that have accepted our offer of trial. So they're the ones that are currently on trial. Let's see if we can find somebody else. Attributes. Let's look at defensive attributes and look at people's tackling ability. So, I mean, here you really want decent positioning as well. So we might want to be filtering some of these out. So let's go into here. Let's select some defenders. Is a natural at. Let's add some positions. Right, and bump, 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 bump. Right, so we've got position. Is natural at defender left, defender centre, or defender right. So we've cut it down to 1,000, which is fine. Let's add an age clause in here. Age is at most 25. So we're down to 600. And let's put in some minimum knowable attributes. So if we go in and pick for, let's say positioning, tackling, which is here, and marking, and we say those need to be at least 8, down to 513. So we've sorted on positioning, but we can sort on tackling, for example. You can see that where we've said 8, if positioning, if the range, i.e. if we don't know enough about the player to determine whether it is 8 or not, it will still be included in here. But what we might want to look for as well is put heading in there. Pick attributes, and we'll also include heading and jumping reach. And let's make sure we have strong and quick defenders as well, with a decent work rate. We're still going to use 8. Right, down to 145 players. Now these are looking more of a profile that we'll get a good basis for. So how many was it? 11. We did 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do 10. Then we'll go in here and we'll offer a trial. 2 weeks. Go. Right. That was easy. Offers made for boys. So the person we offered a physio, so he is considering the offer. We don't know whether he'll come to us. Meet the players. Think now would be a good time to introduce yourself. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's got in and is comfortable. Let's go and introduce ourselves. Hello. I wanted to introduce myself to you as the new Brackley manager. Right, they're all encouraged. Gareth is the one who's speaking up. He is the captain. I'm pleased to see you in charge. Hope your reign is long and successful. Thank you. So we can promise things. We can we need to sell players. That's a bit harsh coming in on the first day. By the way, half of you won't be here tomorrow because, you know, money. No. So we can make promise about improvements. If any big offers come in for you, looking at the younger players, I'll be giving them a chance in the first team. Yes, I think I will, including Bradley Rolt, for example. They seem pleased. Got Twarrick and Alex Prosser are very happy. That's good news. Club is more than happy for anyone to undertake further education on coaching courses. That's not a promise. That's not going to be relevant for the players. I'm not sure why they would put that in there. I have to be fair. If any of you want to move on and a good enough offer is made for you, you won't stand in your way as a club. I'll try and improve the quality of the backroom staff. That's a promise to make. They're encouraged and content. Can't say I'm bothered. Yeah, okay, well that was fair enough. But the backroom staff are very important for you, Lee. Who's going to be making your bacon sandwiches, for example? Do I want to say I won't be standing in anyone's way? No, let's not talk about people leaving the club right now. I want to move on to talking about expectations. Set some sensible goals for the season. So, the players often want to under-commit to results and then overperform. So we don't want to be pushing them and say we're going to get promoted as champions, because they'll all become discouraged and go, oh crikey, we're not that good. We are good enough to finish in the top half, and that's something that the board is looking for. That is sort of beating us down. We can make the playoffs. That might be too much. We're good enough to finish in the top half. That's a target we can all get behind. Well, there's some people reserved, some people are neutral, and I'm happy that that was okay. I want us to make it to the FA Cup proper. That sounds good. Brilliant, that's what I wanted to hear. And thanks for the code of conduct. I won't be expecting any issues with disciplinary action this season. Now that's agreed. Okay. Most people are neutral or reserved. That's fine. I don't expect everybody to be singing or dancing. Good. Well, thank you very much. Let's have a summary. It's a pretty reasonable introduction. It's had a positive effect on several players' morale. Yeah, so all of the people who were generally feeling a bit, what's going to happen now the manager's left, and they've all ticked upwards. That's pretty good. Dressing room atmosphere has jumped considerably. Seen a good improvement in dressing room atmosphere, just talking to people, listening to them and going, you know. But we do have some promises to now live up to. We've got to play some youth players. The leaders within the team are very keen to see that happening. And they want to see improvements to the coaching team. So hopefully some of those offers we've put out will start to land. Okay. I think we will roll this forward. We've got more trials coming in. Okay, let's just accept these. Right. So we've got some good ones in there. Let's push that forward. It's now 3:15 in the afternoon. More social media stuff. They always go off on one about people coming into the club. So, Finglas on trial. Decent young prospect, could improve a lot. That's not looking very good for you. No, some very weak initial stats there. Thank you for coming, Kieran. No, terminate the trial. Right, Francis, exciting prospect, not far off. Might become available for good enough to play. He's only a no-nonsense centre-back. He's very, very fast. But that's not the be-all and end-all, I'm afraid not, Mr. Francis. It's a no for me right now. Maserani, exciting prospect, not too far. Potentially Vanarama North. So we're not getting good hits on some of these faster people. As a right back, his marking is going to be below 10, considerably below 10. He might have decent tackling, but his positioning is poor as well. Not very good anticipation. So I'm afraid you've come all the way from Wales, and it's a no. Biscuits on the way out. Thank you. Luca Murphy, 3. That's looking very good. Potentially Sky Bet League 2 standard. Centre back. He's 6'2". Modest jumping reach, but he's very quick. Decent leadership. High aggression. He's got very poor concentration, which is going to be a problem as a defender, particularly towards the end of games, but decent heading, nice tackling skill. His positioning needs work along with his teamwork. He is very lazy. That might be a no from me. We'll leave him for the moment. Potentially Vanarama North. He's 6 foot tall, good tackling, good heading. Jumping reach might be 10 or 11. Not very good stamina. Again, another lazy player. Don't like it. It's a no. Okay, terminate that. Goodrich on trial. Not far from first team. Potentially okay for this division. Fast, determined, good tackler. Can play central or on the wing. Possibly a bit more of a work rate. You can stay for the moment. You might be good enough. Blackwell, decent young prospect. Not likely. Wow, high marking and tackling. His positioning sucks. His anticipation might not be very good. He's only 5'9", with low strength. So technically very good. From a mental and physical point of view, not good enough. So not right now. We can't develop you, I'm afraid. Off you go. Charlie Moore, 1.5. Potentially Vanarama North. High tackling. There's only 2. Positioning really sucks. No, I'm afraid not Charlie Moore. Terminate trial. Green, 1.5. Could improve a lot. Yes, room for growth. you know, these physicals, stamina and pace and jumping reach, they're pretty good. Heading might be okay. His tackling's good. His positioning is really poor, as is his marking. And in a fullback, that's not great. So no, Lewis Green, I'm afraid not. George Alfieri, another fullback, aggressive, determined, very fast, very poor marking, no idea where he is with his tackling, very poor positioning, and his anticipation is poor as well, and a very low work rate, don't like it, so no to him as well. Contract terminate trial. Okay, so we've got a decent number of people in on loan, so we can see everybody here in green is a loanee that we've accepted into the club right now. So we'll do another cycle of these, but we'll fill up the 30 slots and then we'll take a view on them. I really don't want them to be in the squad for the friendly though, so probably we will play against them in the team. What's exciting is that these ability ones up here, Enoch Asante and Bobby Carroll, might be some potentially really good picks, and over a period of time we will get better and better view of their stats. So his pace is going to end up like 10 or 11, but he's got really good acceleration. He's 6 foot tall and he's going to be strong with good jumping reach. His heading is going to be in need of development, but his finishing might not be too bad. Some of these scores will let him down, but in terms of being a backup for Lee and Lovu, he's got the strength to hold up play. I'd like to see that tackling, because if he's got the pace and acceleration and the tackling to be able to press, he's certainly got the stamina to press all day and all night. Nice boost to our bravery. He might actually be very good in the air. No vision, but he works really, really hard. I like the look of him. I just want to see a few more stats and then we can probably make a choice. So yeah, he works really hard. He's at Vanarama National level, so he's playing well enough to be in the league above us. Potentially good enough to be Sky Bet League 1. Balanced personality, which doesn't tell you anything. Physical. Right, yeah, he can't dribble. He's very one-footed and doesn't have a lot of intelligence, but he's going to be one of our best strikers, we believe. And Bobby Carroll, let's have a quick look at him as well. This is our 6'2" defensive wall. He's not very strong. You know, he might end up as an 8 or a 9, but he needs to develop his strength. He's only 19, but again, he can run for days. Very good jumping reach, so if the ball does go high up in the air, he can win those for us. And good acceleration. Nice to have somebody with determination and aggression in the centre of the park, and works very, very hard. And that's the kind of thing that you would want from a ball-winning midfielder. Good leadership, bringing some of that in, and his technique is not bad either. He looks potentially very solid. Again, we'll just let him play through, you know, a week of the trial. Maybe we'll see him on the pitch. Some of these others might make it. So these guys here, you know, some of the defenders and goalkeeper. These ones who have kind of lower 2.5 are possibly a bit more unlikely to meet my requirements, because although they might have great potential, we don't have the facilities to improve them. So let's finish this thing with our first trip to the media. So a press conference has been called, but we have attracted one journalist. Right, but it is national media, so we're encouraged to answer questions on the new job. Here we are with Graham Parsons, the non-league paper. How excited are you to be Brackley's new manager? I'll smile warmly for much of this, I think. I'm looking forward to getting to work. There's a lot to do here. I'm proud to be given this opportunity. Yeah, there we go. What attracted you to Brackley? Well, it's just down the road. Stature of this club is incredible. It's not really. It's a huge club. Not really. The club wants to grow, and so do I. We fit each other perfectly. I'm very happy with that. Let's go for that. What made you sure this was the right job? Again, smiling. There are no problems at any stage. This is meant to be. Not particularly. What? Anyway, so is one of the positive ones. There were no problems at all at any stage. This was meant to be. Given you've enjoyed a playing career at the top of the game, it's come as a shock to many. You have chosen to begin your managerial career at Brackley. What were the reasons behind your decision? Well, you know, female managers have to start somewhere, and the potential of working as a first team senior coach at Grimsby had come and went in 2009, and I'm eager to prove my worth. Board explained this is a team looking to go places, and I believe in the project. Kevin Wilkin was a favourite of many Brackley supporters. I'm sure they were. They were sad to see him go. Can you win over any doubters and secure their support? If we're winning games and moving in the right direction, I have little doubt they'll be happy. Everybody involved in the club, from the board to the fans, wants the same thing. It's important that we all pull in the same direction for a common cause. Yes, that one. How much work do you think is needed here to bring the squad up to standard? Well, I will disarm. I intend to give everyone ample opportunity to show what they can do. As a talented squad, I think they'll show me that. Have you introduced yourself to the squad yet? Yes, I have. Smile warmly. Energy in the dressing room always comes with a new manager. Everyone's excited. That's a bit too much. There's a real hunger from everyone to show what they can do. Do you have a message for the Brackley fans about what you hope to achieve? We won't be able to achieve anything without our fans. It's that simple. Not particularly true. You can't sell out the stadium. I have to prove to them I'm the right manager for the job. Hopefully I can earn their support. That's fine. I could do that. How far can you take this club? Outstretched arms. This far. We want to be the best team in the world. Nope. We want to win things. We want to be successful. We've laid out plans for how to achieve that. There we go. What approach will you take to training? Give it to the assistant manager to do. I'm all about working smarter and not harder. Not true. Balance to be made between work and rest. I'm cautious not to overwhelm the players at this point. Actually, I've put them all on heavy workloads, so I expect a certain amount of hard work from everyone. It's non-negotiable. A certain level of effort and commitment from every player, every coach and every employee in the club. That's how we'll improve. Yeah, I like that one. How valuable is a young and dynamic star like Jordan Richards for you? Well, we have a very talented squad. We'll need every player to perform to their fullest every week. Is Gareth Dean going to continue as captain? He's one of the players that attracted me here. He's the captain. That hasn't changed despite my arrival, I agree. How would you go about improving the Brackley squad? Is there a position you'd like to improve? Yes. No comment. I haven't seen them play yet. Reece Gaskell joining the club on trial. Many people want to know what his chances are. We don't know. That's why we're taking him on a trial. Some managers are famous for their hands-on approach, others more reserved with their players. How do you sell your management style? I have to look after my players. It might sound trite, that really does matter. What will your priority? Will your priority be doing well in the Vanarama North? Yes, ultimately. Vanarama North is the club's biggest priority. Okay, he's encouraged. No effect on the journalist relationship. We don't really have one. Leave the press conference. And that's it for the moment. We've finished some more trials. We will sort out the next trialists to slot in where these are leaving and have a look at them. And then, we've already identified a couple of likely looking candidates, but we'll give them a few days at the club and have a look at them in the match and see how they impress, and then maybe we'll put some offers in for them. Hopefully they won't be asking for stupid salaries or ridiculous promises, but we'll see whether we can cut a deal. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me. I hope that was good, and we'll get to the match next time. Thanks very much. See you soon. Bye.
I fought with lions and wolves, but I've never fought myself before. It's so